Warning chimes echo through the cabin as oxygen masks snap from the ceiling, swaying like metronomes of panic. The floor trembles. The walls groan. Passengers look at each other, then to the frozen smiles of the flight attendants. An unnatural shudder runs through the aircraft. A sharp bang, a rush of air, and for a moment, nobody understands what has just gone terribly, irreversibly wrong. August 12th, 1985. Late afternoon humidity clings to the air as commuters shuffle toward their evening flights. Among them, 524 people drift through security and boarding gates, some returning home to Osaka, others heading on business trips, some children starting late summer vacations. They step onto Japan Airlines Flight 123, a short, familiar domestic hop between two of Japan's busiest cities. The aircraft, a high-density, short-range variant of a jumbo jet, is a workhorse on this route. Crews know it well. The captain is highly experienced, with thousands of hours in the type. His first officer and flight engineer are seasoned professionals. To everyone boarding, it feels routine. Nothing about this feels like history about to be written in tragedy. At 6:12 p.m., Flight 123 accelerates down the runway and climbs into the hazy summer sky. Controllers watch its radar blip drift away from Tokyo, just another green mark among many. No one in the tower, no one in the cabin, no one in the cockpit yet senses that 12 minutes from now, this airplane will lose almost all control, and that for over half an hour, hundreds of people will be trapped in a slow, terrifying fall. About 12 minutes after takeoff, Flight 123 levels off around its assigned altitude. Then, in an instant, everything changes. A loud bang shakes the airframe, followed by a violent shudder. The cabin pressure drops abruptly. Oxygen masks tumble from the ceiling. Loose items fly. Passengers clutch their seats as the aircraft lurches. In the back, some describe hearing a boom that feels like something tearing open behind them. When the bulkhead ruptures, pressurized air blasts into the tail, ripping away a large section of the vertical stabilizer and damaging the hydraulic lines that snake through the rear. Hydraulics are the lifeblood of modern airliners, powering the control surfaces that let pilots guide the plane. On Flight 123, those systems are now mostly gone. The aircraft begins to wallow and yaw, its movements no longer crisp but sluggish and unpredictable. In the cockpit, alarms scream. The crew's oxygen masks are on, their voices strained as they declare an emergency. They know they've suffered decompression, but the full extent of structural damage is not immediately clear. The captain requests a return to Haneda, his voice controlled but urgent. Air traffic control clears them direct, tells them they can descend. On the instruments, however, something is terribly wrong. The aircraft does not respond as it should. The captain pushes and pulls the yoke, works the rudder pedals, but the airplane reacts in jagged, sluggish motions. It starts to enter a series of phugoid oscillations, long, slow arcs of climbing and descending, like a swing that cannot quite stop. The crew struggles against a machine that barely listens. In the cabin, the sensation is deeply unnatural. The aircraft rises, sinks, banks, and straightens in a pattern that feels like a long, sickening roller coaster with no track. Below, controllers watch the radar with growing confusion. Flight 123 is not following a clean path back to Tokyo. Instead, its track begins to loop, drift, and wander over central Japan. The crew reports difficulties controlling the airplane. At one point, they mention that all primary controls seem ineffective. They try flaps, trim, anything left that might influence the giant wounded jet. Their calm, professional voices mask an increasingly desperate reality. Inside the cabin, Passengers live through the longest 30-plus minutes of their lives. Some are injured from the initial decompression, others shaken and crying, yet many remain seated, buckled in, oxygen masks either on or pushed aside now that cabin pressure has somewhat stabilized at a lower altitude. The crew in the cabin, trained to project calm, move carefully down the aisles when they can, checking on passengers, encouraging seatbelts, urging people to stay low and steady. They do this while knowing from the aircraft's motions that the situation is perilous. Up front, the captain and his team attempt every technique they can imagine. With conventional controls largely gone, they discover that small adjustments in engine thrust can nudge the plane to pitch and roll, increase power on one side, reduce on the other, and the aircraft lurches in that direction. Japanese self-defense force jets are eventually scrambled and climb to intercept. One fighter pilot later recalls seeing pieces missing from the crippled airliner's tail and abnormal airflow streaming off the damaged structure. But communication is difficult. The stricken jumbo is barely stable. On radar and in the sky, Flight 123 continues its tortured path, tracing wide, distorted loops above rugged terrain, each oscillation bringing it closer to the mountains below. As the flight drifts into the mountainous region of Gunma Prefecture, daylight begins to fade into the soft gloom of early evening. The damaged aircraft keeps cycling through climbs and descents, rising toward thin air, then sinking back toward the ridgelines. The crew requests vectors to a nearby airport, any runway that might be reachable. But the airplane's behavior is erratic, their options narrowing with each oscillation and each lost foot of altitude. The sound inside the cabin changes. Engines spool up, then down, as the pilots try to shape the aircraft's attitude using power alone. That rising, falling roar becomes the soundtrack of fear. Survivors later recall the sense of time stretching, of living in a suspended state between hope and dread. They feel the climbs press them into their seats, then that eerie lightness as the plane droops into another descent. In control rooms and military bases, people focus on radar screens, loss of contact procedures, and search plans, unaware of the exact moment when the flight's final struggle ends. Shortly after 6:56 p.m., Japan Airlines Flight 123 impacts a forested ridge on Mount Takamagahara. The crash tears through trees and earth, the force immense. There is no fireball visible from nearby villages, just a distant sound and then silence, as fragments of metal and lives come to rest in a steep, densely wooded slope. Above, the sky continues its quiet transition into night. Rescue operations are delayed by confusion and difficult terrain. Early reports struggled to pinpoint the crash site. Some initial assumptions suggest the aircraft may have ditched or come down elsewhere. By the time ground teams reach the wreckage, many hours have passed. They find a scene of devastation scattered across the mountain. Yet astonishingly, a handful of survivors are discovered amid the debris, clinging to life in the darkness. 4 people ultimately survive. 1 child, 2 women seated near the rear of the cabin, and a flight attendant. Their accounts, given carefully in the weeks and months afterward, paint a haunting picture of the final moments. They recall the violent motions, the sense of impact followed by unconsciousness, then waking in twisted wreckage, hearing distant moans and cries fading into the forest night. Some remember the smell of fuel, the settling quiet, and the long wait for help. Investigators soon focus on the aircraft's tail section. They find the shattered rear pressure bulkhead and missing portions of the vertical stabilizer. Maintenance records lead back to the tail strike years earlier and the subsequent repair. Detailed analysis shows how the improperly installed doubler plate concentrated stress at crucial points instead of spreading it, allowing small cracks to grow slowly with each flight, until the structure finally gave way on that August evening. The investigation forces a painful reckoning. It highlights how a single maintenance error, left undetected through inspections and years of operations, can silently lay the groundwork for disaster. It prompts airlines and manufacturers worldwide to re-examine repair procedures, quality control, and oversight. In Japan, the human cost is overwhelming. 520 lives lost, families shattered, a nation in mourning. Memorials rise on the mountainside, and each year loved ones climb to remember. The story of Japan Airlines Flight 123 is not only one of catastrophic failure, but of human resilience, last messages scratched on paper, and lessons etched into aviation safety for generations to come. Yet this was not the only time pressurization and structure betrayed those in the sky. To understand how a different failure ripped open a doorway mid-flight, changing another crew's fate, you'll want to continue with the story of the airplane door that suddenly opened in mid-air, United Airlines Flight 811. By clicking here and seeing how these puzzles connect. See you there.